Welcome to Bedtime Stories. The Magical Pearls. Long ago, near the river there lived a woman and her son. They were good people, but very poor. Every day the boy hiked into the countryside to cut grass. This he gathered and sold to the villagers for fodder and fuel. With his small earnings, mother and son managed to survive. One year a terrible drought struck the land. Life became even harder for the family. The boy went out as usual every day, gathering whatever little he could. He made less and less money. After a while his mother became ill from hunger. One day the boy was walking beside a dry stream and came upon the lushest patch of bright green grass he had ever seen. Amazed by his luck, he quickly cut the whole patch, filled his sack and carried it to the village. He sold his grass for more money than he had ever made before. Then he returned home and fed his mother a hearty meal. The next day the boy returned to the same spot, hoping he might find another green patch. To his astonishment, he saw that the grass he had cut the day before had grown again, just as thick and green. He worked until sunset, and once again earned enough money to pay for a fine meal. On the third day the boy again returned to the dry stream. Again he saw the grass had grown. For 5 days this went on. The boy and his mother were deeply grateful for the miraculous patch of grass. But on the 6th day the boy woke and yawned. "Oh, it is so far to walk to my spot." Then he smiled, for he had an idea. He would go to the patch again, but this time he would dig up the magic grass by the roots and bring it back to plant beside their house. He hiked back to his patch and worked there for hours, digging up the grass by roots. Suddenly he found, buried in the soil, a beautiful pair of pearls. He held it gently in his palm, watching it gleam in the midday sun. Then he put them in his pocket and finished his work. That night the boy showed the pearls to his mother. "It's so lovely," she said as she rolled the gems. "We can sell it," the boy said happily. "No, let us keep it for a while," said the mother. "It will be nice to have something so beautiful with us." She put the pearls in the rice jar, and the boy went out to plant his grass. The next morning the boy awoke early, eager to see his new patch of grass. But when he ran to the window, he saw that the grass was withered and dying. "Oh, I am a fool," he cried. "I have destroyed that which was good. If only I had not been so lazy." Then he remembered the pearls. He ran to the jar to make certain the precious gem was still there. To his great surprise, the jar, which had been nearly empty, now brimmed with rice, and the lovely pearls sat on the top, gleaming in the morning light. "Mother, come quickly," he called. When she saw this miracle, she rejoiced. "We will eat a big bowl of rice in celebration," she said. "Let us put the pearls back as it was," she said. The next morning, to their great joy, they found the jar was full once again. "This is a magical pearl," said the mother. "We must take good care of our treasure." That night she put the pearls in the money box. The next morning the box was overflowing with coins. That night they placed the pearls inside the oil jar. In the morning, the jar overflowed with oil. The mother and her son no longer had any worries. Whatever they needed, the pearls created for them. Their friends and neighbors noticed the change in their fortunes, but no one minded, for the mother and son were generous beyond compare. They were always giving things to others. 2 men in the village were selfish and greedy, and were suspicious of the good fortune the mother and son possessed. One day these men went to their house and bullied the woman to share the secret of her wealth. "But gentlemen," said the woman, "our fortune is no secret. We are lucky enough to own a magical pearl." She took the pearl from its safe place and showed them. The 2 men crowded close. Suddenly one of them snarled, "We shall have your pearl," but before he could grab it, the boy snatched it up and ran out of the house, and he threw the pearl into the river in front of them, which had less water left. The two selfish men went away knowing the fact that they had only one pearl. That night the mother instructed her son to dig a hole by their house and bury the other pearl deep in the soil. The boy did as asked in the middle of the night while no one was watching and then went to sleep. The next morning to his amaze he saw a big and huge patch of thick green grass grow on the place where he had buried the pearl. And the river which had less water began to overflow. He at once began to cut the grass and went to sell them and made a lot of money every day as the grass grew every day on that patch. The mother and the son knew the secret of magical pearls and never shared with anyone and lived happily ever after. If you like the story, please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you for listening.